Hello everybody, this is Mark Bradshaw with Nitrobeard.com, and for the podcast Free to Play, your number one source for people bullshitting about video games. Before we begin, I would just like to note that I am recording this audio separately from the video that Mr. Imran Khan is producing for us. I just produced a list of games for him, and it's entirely possible that there is some kind of horrible pro-Nintendo propaganda actually being displayed to you right now. I'm not actually going to ever watch this video because, quite frankly, the prospect of listening to my own voice frightens me. So I'd just like to begin this by saying that Mr. Imran Khan is a handsome and erudite gentleman. His opinions on video games are above reproach, and certainly his opinions on Nintendo are not irrational. Also, One Piece is pretty great. Okay, with all that said, I'm just going to start with the top 10 list. Number 1, The Walking Dead. Number 2, Borderlands 2. Number 3, Forza Horizon. Hey, I'm pretty sure some other games were released this year. Hang on a second. Wikipedia. BioShock Infinite was not released this year. BioShock Infinite did not come out this year. Anarchy Reigns was finished, but it wasn't actually released. You know what? Here's a different list. Here's an alternate universe top 10 list. Here's what 2012 could have looked like. Not to say we had a bad year. Obama was elected president again. I got a new knee. And, at some point we're getting a Bayonetta 2, even if it is on the Horde Nintendo Wii U platform. But, as far as, games this year, it's been pretty bad. It's great for, if you just play download games, because then you got Journey, and you got Fez, and you got Dust and Elysian Tale, Papayio, some other great things. But if you're into, box retail releases, this year was awful. And it probably going to note the end of the retail models we know it, which is probably a good thing. Anyway, enough of that. Here's the alternate universe top 10, and possibly the worst year for video games ever. Number 10, Anarchy Reigns, because in my alternate universe 2012, Sega actually has enough money to actually print the games that are produced for them. Number 9, Forza Horizon, mainly because I didn't play this year's Need for Speed game. Number 8, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because in my alternate universe, Capcom still knows what the hell they're doing. Number 7, Borderlands 2, a solid video game in both universes. Number 6, Ninja Gaiden 3. In my universe, Tecmo doesn't suck, and they still know how to produce the Ninja Gaiden games. Number 5, The Walking Dead. Again, solid in both universes. In number 4, Phil Fish isn't a pretentious dick, and Fez was actually shipped finish. So, nobody feels bad about Fez in my alternate universe. And also the platforming doesn't suck, and there's more than just his weird puzzles going on there. Number 3, Dishonored, because if you take Steampunk DSX, Human Resolution, that should be great, and that should be at least worth number 3. Not so much the actual Dishonored, which is kind of heartless and dumb, and probably could be a great sequel, but this one is kind of bad. Number 2, BioShock Infinite, because in my alternate universe, that game came out, and I'm playing it right now, and go to hell. It's great. And in my alternate universe, BioShock still doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they released a Mass Effect 3, where they actually, didn't make everyone regret ever paying attention to Mass Effect or being invested in the franchise. Now, the actual top 10 list of the stuff that came out this year. Number 10, Fez. Number 9, Mass Effect 3. Still a solid video game, even if the final act completely falls apart and there was no resolution. And aside from the modern Solus mission, it was largely regrettable from a storyline standpoint. But if you needed Gears this year, it was your only game. Number 8, Kid Icarus Uprising. Fairly surprising video game for the 3DS. Actually, the only 3DS game about this year aside from Pushmo. That game needs 2 thumbsticks. The touchpad, the touch screen thing was just completely unworkable. Number 7, Darksiders 2. Solid video game. They didn't actually like fix any of the issues with Darksider 1, and THQ is probably out of business now. Well, by the time I'm recording this, they're still in business, but they're probably out of business by the time you're listening to this. It's not entirely Darksiders 2 fault, but really I don't know what they're thinking by making that like important. Number 6, Halo 4. That's some Halo there. All right. Again, bad year. Just a horrible year. Number 5, Dishonored. That's not to say like Dishonored number 5 on this list and like number 3 on like the best universe ever list. That's just to say that this was a very, very bad year. It's a very, very bad year. And Dishonored, even in its heartless, artless state, and it's still a reasonably competent stealth game. So there's Dishonored. Number 4, Forza Horizon. Again, never played the Need for Speed game this year, but Forza Horizon was pretty, and they did some really amazing things with Forza this year. It was probably better off as a Gotham racing game instead of Forza, but hey, you know what? Forza has a lot of cachet behind that name, so hey, we get Forza Horizon. Number 3, Legend of Grimrock. Actually, a very surprising game there. If you're into the old Eye of the Beholder game for the PC, this is that, but it doesn't look like crap, and it's fully extendable, so you can just keep adding maps to it. Outstanding video game. It really shows that if you have a classic idea, you can just bring that idea into the modern era, and it works. We saw this a couple years back with Pac-Man CX. Some ideas are great enough that they can't die, and they need to be brought back. Number 2, Borderlands 2. Fairly uneventful video game, but it's also the game on this list that I'm going to go back to time and again because it's just stupid fun and it's uncomplicated. And even if the new Game Plus stuff you actually meet more than one person, it's still enjoyable. And number 1, The Walking Dead. No real surprise there. Just the best story possibly in video game history. I guess it's probably a little bit too strong considering like Planescape Torment still exists and Chrono Trigger. So I can't really back that up at all. But definitely Walking Dead. If this is how we're going to have comic adaptations, movie adaptations, or anything outside of the traditional video game narrative put into video games, this is how it needs to happen. I'm not sure The Walking Dead is a great endpoint for what Telltale is trying to do. Hopefully at some point they actually understand how to make a decent action sequence. And it's not terribly much of an adventure game either. But it's something we've never really seen before, and hopefully they can keep this up. Looks like they're getting a lot of awards this year, and they're getting mine. Again, in a better year, that'd be Mass Effect 3. What can you do? Anyway, this has been my list. Thanks for listening.